What's better than fantasy football? Kyle Fridland, Jake Fridland.
Ain't nothing better than football.
Two brothers talking about the nitty and gritty of the best sport in the world. Welcome to the Fantasy Simpletons Show! NFL trade deadline. It is nearly here. It is nearly upon us. Is anything going to actually happen at the trade deadline? We don't know. But wouldn't it be fun if something did, Jake?
Oh, it'd be extremely fun. That's
incredibly fun.
Yeah.
And that's what this episode is about.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about possible hypothetical trades that could, and maybe should, happen before the deadline hits. Whether you're watching this on Monday, on the day of the deadline, or even after. It's fun to look back and watch and see some of the big players that could and should be traded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names to get through, so we can just get right into it. Jake, are you ready for it?
I'm ready, Kyle. Let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's go. The first name I actually want to talk about here was a running back that recently lost his job. There's a man by the name of Chuba Hubbard, and I have him billed to go to the San Diego Chargers. I said San Diego. I meant to say Los Angeles. I still have San Diego brain. But basically what I wanted to do with Chuba Hubbard is give him a new chance at life, a new opportunity. Because if anybody watched this last game, Rico Dowdle has fully taken over as the one. The team is comfortable with it, and he seems to have completely blossomed in the role. So where does that leave Hubbard moving forward? They just signed him to a new contract. Well, why not? Yeah. Well, why not give him a chance on a new team to, at least in the short term, be a good starter and be a good guy to sustain the running game until Amarian Hampton comes back and they can be that 1-2 punch that they need going into the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as much as I think it would make sense for the Chargers to have this season, you know, another big name guy. I don't know, logistically, and this is the thing with a lot of these trade rumors, right? Chuba just got paid recently, and they would have to work out a deal. You know, he'd probably have to be paid just that much, and with if not more, going to a new team, whatever his contract was, they'll have to buy him out. And then also it's like Amarian Hampton's going to be coming back in what? Well, we don't know for sure exactly when. It's probably going to be sometime this year, but then is he just going to split with Chuba? Like, I don't know. He just seems a little too expensive. But then it'd also be expensive keeping him, right? If you don't really need him on the Panthers with Rico Dowdle. So it is kind of a tricky situation, but it'd be really fun though.
No, it'd be a thing that would at the very least open up things for the Panthers. So there's no more like thoughts or controversy behind it. Just go full all in, full gas pedal with Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. And
with the Chargers, I think they want to make a postseason run. So I think this makes the most sense. And for fantasy, for anybody that has Chuba, that invests in Chuba, it could at least give you a few weeks to be like, okay, I'll get something out of it. I'm still going to get something out of the fact that this guy just lost his job.
Right.
But I think it could be good for both sides.
I think so. I think it's also funny because, I don't know, Rico Dowdle he just seems like a Chuba, like what Chuba was last year before he got signed.
Yeah.
Like he was just underratedly good this season. And then now he's just deserving of a spot. It's just kind of funny to me that they got another guy that's doing this on their team, and now they're past the guy that was doing this for them last year. Literally,
it happens.
Last year he was doing this. He was doing what Rico Dowdle was doing on the team. So
he's running the hot hand. The only thing I'd say about Dowdle is I think he's doing even more than Hubbard did in the previous season. Because you
Sure.
can look at Rico Dowdle. He's in the games he started, he has been an absolute monster. And he's single-handedly probably gotten them most of their wins this season.
Hmm.
So it makes sense to want to run with him as an organization because the whole goal is to win football games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if this guy's doing that good to get you in position to win games, you got to go for it.
I agree. I agree. I think trading would be fun, but I can definitely see this being a case where they just keep him, have that 1-2 punch. It's not bad to have that. So either way, should
What?
be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about another name here? This team should be on a setup to sell everybody. I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins with Jaylen Waddle. He should go to the Falcons. And I have a specific reason for why I think he should go to the Falcons.
Yeah.
I think
Let's hear
there's
it.
something inherently missing with the Falcons. And I can't even say specifically it's defense right now, because their defense has actually been pretty solid this year. They've been
Mhm.
getting a lot going. It has to be something on the offensive side. Something's not working. And you can point to Penix. You can say maybe the quarterback's not working, but he's your guy. He's the guy you invested in. You gave up a lot to get him. You're not moving on from him. But you need to help him in the passing game somewhat. If you're a 500 team and you want to think that you have a shot to make the playoffs, if you want to make that next step, Drake London, as great as he is, and I love Drake London, he can't be the only guy.
Mhm.
There's not enough to keep this team moving when Bijan Robinson isn't killing it. I think they should go out and they should trade and try to get someone like Jaylen Waddle on a team that should be trying to sell him because everything's falling apart and they
Yeah.
should restart from scratch.
Sure. I agree. It's just so tough. I think since Mike McDaniel's still on, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
but I'm just thinking about it, from both sides. Part of me thinks Mike McDaniel's trying to pull things back together still when it can obviously not be pulled back together. Like he's fighting every single day to keep his job, bro. And we're all surprised that he still has it.
Dude, I'd argue he
So
might not even be fighting to keep his job anymore. I think he knows the job's
that's
gone.
probably yeah.
I think he's a dead man walking. The
Well,
fact that
then
they fired the GM. They fired the GM
even
this week, but not the coach.
even in that case, then it's like, what more would he have to do to either piss off the coaching, the management, or um the fans? So if they trade Jaylen Waddle, I think there's gotta be a whole lot happening. A whole lot hate against him
I
potentially.
you have to make a decision with Jaylen Waddle because here's the thing: it's the last year of his contract.
Mhm.
You've already used the 5th-year option. This is it. So for the Falcons side, they don't have to give up much if they don't plan. If they're on the fence of extending him, this could
Yeah.
be the one season hip up for them. For the Dolphins side, you have to figure out what you want to be. Because if you're going into full rebuild mode, do you want Jaylen Waddle to be a part of that?
Right.
That's the bigger decision here.
Yeah. And he'll probably be kind of expensive though. That's the thing too.
He'll be
You know.
expensive if you want to keep him long term.
Sure.
Is like if the Falcons are looking for a quick fix to try to get a spark on offense to see if it sparks something in Penix, try to make a playoff push, it would be great for them. And I
Yeah.
think it will just help the offense in general. It will make Penix a much better fantasy viable option. It could ease some tension for both Bijan Robinson. Drake London might get a slight hit, but
Mhm.
he's been playing so ridiculously well. I think if anything, he'll probably stay around the same level.
Fair enough. I could see it. It would be pretty wild, but I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about another one? This might not be as visible because we got Alvin Kamara, who projected going to the Chiefs, which on paper makes sense.
Mhm.
You know, the Chiefs could be looking for a bigger name to solidify some things. He's an older, aging veteran running back that you might want to bring in to have one more shot at getting a ring, possibly. It's a little more complicated than that because he doesn't want to leave. And we've all heard the quote that he says, like, I'm going to have a pina colada if they trade me, basically saying he'll retire.
Yeah.
So this one might not be super likely because he doesn't want to leave. I don't know if the team wants to part with him. But if he does end up leaving, this could be a very fun option.
It could, definitely. But let me ask you this. What's the difference between Alvin Kamara and Kareem Hunt?
I don't know. You tell me, Jake.
No, I'm asking you.
Practically nothing.
Except
he
I'll tell you.
offers pass catching ability.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Pass catching ability, dude. And that's what they need. That's honestly what they need. You know? And I mean, Pacheco offers that, but Pacheco's such a hit or miss guy, bro. You don't really know what you're going to get each week. And you don't know if he's going to get, he has lingering injuries. I don't know. I just think he's a risky play for the Chiefs, but
Yeah.
I think any team that needs a running back, really, the Chiefs, even outside of the Chiefs, any team would be lucky to have Alvin Kamara. He's just that good. He's like the veteran guy, the Kareem Hunt with pass catching ability. So yeah, I think it'd be cool, especially if they can get him for cheap, and win him over by saying, they might honestly go to the Super Bowl. Then that'd be cool for him to be on a team like that. I
don't
could
know.
see him being traded though, for sure.
The one thing I don't like, it feels like you're putting like a piece of tape over a hole in a fish tank. Like it feels like it's just like a temporary solution. I feel like they should be a team that should be looking for more of a long-term solution, personally, because Kareem Hunt isn't getting any younger. He's been around for a decade. Pacheco, another guy on the last year of his contract, and dude, I don't think they're going to bring him back. I don't think they'd be willing to pay the money. I don't think he's just done enough to get a long-term deal. So I feel like it would be better for them to try to look for something rather than just another guy to throw in there that's also a veteran. That could complicate things more. It could open things up for the Saints. I mean, you're completely taking apart everything. I guess Devin Neal's the biggest benefactor of this. If it would just be like that. But I have something else cooking up with a possible Saints trade that we'll get to in just a little bit here.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think Brashard Smith is the only really young guy they have with potential, but I think he's too small in size. Like, he hasn't really been showing great, like, he's just a smaller guy. Like, he's a great pass catcher, but he can't really run through guys. Can't really go down the middle. He's just so small. So I think they're probably, I could see them maybe trading for someone, but definitely getting someone in the draft, most likely, if this season continues with a poor Pacheco performance and Kareem Hunt, who's
Totally
aging. So, yeah,
I absolutely want to see that. And Alvin Kamara, he's not the only guy on his team that somewhat considering a trade, but maybe he doesn't want to go. There's a lot surrounding Chris Olave, who I think, I don't care what people are saying. I don't care if he wants to stay. I don't care if they're discussing a negotiation. Buffalo, you need a guy. If you want to have a shot at a Super Bowl, if you want to have a shot at winning this season, from what I've seen, you need a true option that Josh Allen can throw to on a consistent basis if he's in trouble.
Yeah, they do. 100%.
And I've made fun of Chris Olave a lot this season. I've talked about him being like the ultimate flex player. But guess what? For years, I've always been super high on Chris Olave and the talent. But he's been stuck on a Saints team that has never had a good quarterback for his whole career. This is it. This is his last season on this deal. And even though they're trying to work in an extension right now, Buffalo, give up a second round pick. Heck, if you need to, go even higher. Do a late. It's going to be a late first anyways. Go a late first. Get Olave, sign him to an extension, and let him prove that he can be that guy in a top offense.
Yeah. Dude, they need someone bad.
It's
Almost
super
more than
beneficial.
anybody
Yeah.
in the NFL, yeah. And they don't have a deep ball threat guy. Like everyone that they've tried, and Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman, like what they even have Curtis Samuel still, who's doing absolutely nothing. They have to get somebody. I like Chris Olave. I know there's been a lot of talks about Rashid Shaheed, and we might be talking about him coming up in just a bit, but he's kind of also a guy that could fit this role. There are guys out there, and I could definitely see it. The thing is, it's hard for me to see it working. This late in the season, guys having to maybe catch up. And the Bills did this last year, man. We saw this with
with Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, dude. It was the same thing, and now he's not even on the team. They released him.
He's retired. He's just straight up.
Oh yeah,
that was the last we saw of him.
Right, and that makes sense because he's a bit older. But it's like, I don't know. I think the Bills obviously need a guy, but they're also in a similar situation to like, is it going to be a Band-Aid? Are they going to actually be able to work a guy into their offense this season?
Yeah.
Or are they going to have to maybe, draft someone or pick someone up in the offseason and train them up to really work in this offense?
The only problem,
it's a tricky offense.
Yeah, because the only problem I could see with trades being a lot less frequent as they were last season is buyer's remorse. Because there were a lot of trades for receivers that didn't work last season. The trade for Devontae Adams to the Jets. What good did that do them? We just mentioned with Amari Cooper to the Bills. Deontay Johnson to the Ravens. He didn't even last a few games before they released him. So obviously they could look at that and they wouldn't want to repeat history and just stay out of that conversation entirely. But I would love to see them try it with like a real genuine piece, not just a patch guy, because Olave can be a genuine great piece for an offense.
Right. He could be a guy that could be on this team, for the foreseeable future if he does well for them. So,
of course.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm. And I feel the same way about another guy coming up, because the Ravens, I always thought needed an extra guy. How about DJ Moore? Oof. Now, I know this isn't super likely at all, but I think this can be beneficial for multiple people. For one, I think it's beneficial for the Bears. There's so many offensive pieces on the Bears, and I think trading one of their pieces off, it makes it better for Rome Odunze. It makes it better for Colston Loveland, Luther Bird, and all these guys that you picked up in the draft this year that you want to get more involved. We just saw a game with the Bengals where how many points did the Bears score, Jake? 47 points, and Rome Odunze didn't have a single catch.
That is pretty crazy.
That's pretty wild, right? Come on, give this guy something to work with. And for DJ Moore, he wasn't Ben Johnson's guy. He was already there when he was brought in. Mm-hmm. Why not trade him to a place like the Ravens where they have a great offense and they could actually find a great use for someone like him?
Right.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. They could definitely use another piece to bring their offense to the next level. And DJ Moore, he's an established veteran guy that could he's been around enough to I feel like he could work. He could work really well on any team that he goes on.
Yeah,
And they could kind of use him in any type of way that they might need to. Um, yeah, but I feel like with the emergence of Colston Loveland, this last game, and
absolutely.
just everybody on there on the Chicago offense is just really good, and DJ's a little bit older. I think they can definitely get rid of him if they had to, you know, get rid of a piece and take that and do something else with it. So I could definitely see him getting shipped somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and Baltimore is an interesting destination. We'll have to
Dude,
see.
maybe
We'll have to see.
even Cole Kmet. Maybe
Dude,
not necessarily to the Ravens,
yeah.
but like I mean, he doesn't need to be a Bear.
No,
I
no.
mean, not really. Open the door up for Loveland. Give him a shot because it looks like he could have a great second half of the season,
Mm-hmm.
which is great for a top 10 pick that you invested in.
Definitely. Yeah.
How about another running back here? This one is interesting because I can see this happening, but I don't know if I like it. This is Tony
Oh,
Pollard, and the idea of him going to the Patriots makes a lot of sense because the Patriots have been talked about as a team looking for another running back. And Tony Pollard would be a pretty perfect buy-in for a Titans team that is in sell mode. They're a very bad team. They don't have a lot to go off of right now. So again, on paper, it all makes sense. Man, they really just don't like Travion Henderson, do they? They don't.
no.
They had no Ramondre Stevenson, and they had a shot to use him for the first time. It's like, okay, there's no one in front of him. This is it. And yet, I had him in some teams, and I still didn't feel like I should start him because I just knew deep in the bottom of my heart, I knew they weren't invested enough. He had an okay game, but some guy with the last name of Jennings just came in and he scored a touchdown and he was getting carries. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cool. Cool. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Dude, I know. It's so weird. Their offensive coordinator is like so stuck to having Travion and a bigger back take on most of the workload. And that's just it's so weird. But it
It's so
is. It is
bizarre.
what it is. But I think that's why Tony Pollard would work so well in this offense.
Yeah.
Because he is, like, in my opinion, a better Ramondre Stevenson, you know. Um doesn't fumble as much, he's
Actually gets some yards after
actually
getting
gets
the
some yards
ball.
after, yeah,
Won't
like
give you a stat line of like 15 carries for 22 yards.
exactly. Yeah, so I think this should work, and with the emergence of Tajay Spears on, on the Titans, um, it would make the Titans a really young team because he's a young guy, but Tajay Spears looks great. They don't really need Tony
Oh,
Pollard.
yeah.
Get someone else. Maybe trade for a draft pick so you could get a better wide receiver on the Titans. Something.
Definitely follow
Um,
the trade deadline closely because if Pollard does get traded, Tajay Spears immediate pickup
oh
off the
yeah,
waiver wire.
exactly. Yeah, all these guys. There's ripples that would happen for any one of these guys that we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, there
Um,
are multiple people on the Titans that are sell candidates. We don't have him on here, but Calvin Ridley is
yeah,
one that they've sold receivers in the past before. I don't know if they'll find anybody to take on that contract, but if a team's desperate, I could see it.
definitely. Chig Okonkwo is one, and we might be
Chig
talking about
Okonkwo,
him.
and we'll get to him as well.
Yeah, so few guys, but definitely Tony. Um, I see him filling a need, maybe not even on the Patriots, but just for whoever needs a running back. he's a decent guy that'll
Yeah.
get some yards. But yeah.
Jake, the Saints, a lot of people think that the Saints are sellers because of where they are in the season and their record and trying to build for the
Yeah.
future. But a lot of what they've been showing me is that they're not sellers. If anything, they might more likely be buyers. So I have a bit of a theory here. I think Breece Hall would be a very
Ooh.
interesting case for the Saints. Because here's the thing. If Alvin Kamara doesn't want to leave, and if they don't necessarily want to like trade Kamara and maybe they have some sort of tie or allegiance to him in that way, then instead you bring in another guy. Breece Hall has been a very talked about trade target for many weeks now. It makes a lot of sense for the Jets to get rid of him. He's on the last year of his deal. They're in full rebuild mode. Basically, use this as a setup to let Kamara know, like, hey, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for being an amazing starter for many years. But, we're probably going to move on sooner or later. So here we come in Breece Hall to be our
Yeah.
new Alvin Kamara, our new guy
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to use towards the future. Because everything the Saints have showed me before, it's like look at Duvon Vele at the start of the year. They just want to take players in.
They do.
They like to buy.
They do. And they need someone better to take the reins than Kendre Miller or Devin Neal
Yeah.
in that running back position. Like, if they don't get someone this trade deadline, they're gonna get someone in the draft. It's like, I feel like it's almost a guarantee with the injury history that Kendre Miller has. So yeah, Breece Hall would be great
Yeah.
um, on this team, and I think the Jets are also in a place, pretty similar to pretty similar to, you know, uh,
Which team?
I guess the Titans, they're just a bad team, you
Yeah,
know?
they're one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah, they're one of the worst teams in football, so they could afford to just get picks for next year, get other assets from teams that would work in their favor. It doesn't really matter what they do. Their season's failed. And I think I could see them keeping Breece Hall because he's a great back. Um, but I just I don't know how much he's gonna help them, you know,
Yeah.
in
It's
future.
this is
They need
more of like
so
a
much more.
long-term move rather than just a short-term this season because I
Yeah.
don't think he'll actually do too much now. But if you're looking at getting a new running back long-term, which I think after this season, I think they're going to be in that market. Breece
Sure.
Hall is a guy where it's like, okay, Breece Hall probably should be a starting running back somewhere.
Right.
And I think this makes the most sense that you go with him short term. Either stick with Tyler Shuck or get a new quarterback, and then just figure out under this new Kellen Moore offense to rebuild everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I'm talking about the Jets too. Like, I don't everyone's always like, "Oh, they need Breece Hall because who do they have, you know, behind him?" Well, they only really do have what, Isaiah Davis, or
Yeah,
and he's actually decent, but their season's failed, man.
but
Let's
their
move
season's
on.
down the drain, and who says that Breece Hall wants to stay?
Right.
Because at the end of
I
this
think I
season,
just
he's
saw.
going into free agency. Does he want to stick a deal with the Jets long term? I
Dude,
personally don't think so.
no, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm pretty sure, and this could be a rumor, but I'm pretty sure I saw something today that was like saying how he actually is requesting a trade.
Hmm.
So, there's a lot of rumors, but could be true. Why would he want to be on this team that's been so bad the entirety of his career that he's been on with them? Um, and the Saints are arguably worse than the Jets, but at least they could, this could be their stepping stone to rebuild. So I don't know. It's
Hey,
an interesting thought.
quick little like developing story. This is we're trying to keep up with like the trade deadline as it's going on because right now as we're recording this, we're about less than 24 hours from it actually hitting. And this isn't an official trade, but apparently Jerry Jones is saying that the Cowboys may have uh, a trade fully put together ahead of the Tuesday's deadline. So he's basically teasing that the Cowboys already have a trade in place that's going to go through. Make sure to take that with a grain of salt because I think the last time he said this, it ended up being a trade for Jonathan Mingo. So,
Yeah,
so this is probably just Jerry just being Jerry, but you never know. Something to think about.
definitely. Yeah.
I mean, and if we're talking about players in the long term, where they serve more towards a greater purpose rather than just the second half of this season, that's what I think could be great with Brian Thomas Jr.
BTJ, let's go.
BTJ. Suffice to say, this season has not worked out for him well.
Oh yeah.
It hasn't been a great season. And there have been trade rumors for him that at least the Jaguars have been listening to. Will they trade him now with the Travis Hunter injury? No. I'd say it would have to take a big offer for them to fully consider
Definitely.
it. But if they do, let's, in a hypothetical world, let's take a look at the Giants here.
Yeah.
You have Jackson Dart. You have your season's practically lost due to a big Cam Scatterboot injury, which it was already debatable if you were going to have a great season to begin with. But this season seems to be completely out of the water and out of the depth. What you need to do is prepare for next season, prepare for the upcoming seasons, and the first thing you should do is surround Jackson Dart with more talent. If you traded a pick and wanted to take a shot on someone as good as Brian Thomas Jr., can you imagine the two LSU wide receivers teaming up again, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.,
Dude.
back together with Dart, with Scattaboo, and it tells the rest of your fans, tells the rest of your organization, hey, we're here and we're investing in this quarterback to be our guy, and we're going to make sure he succeeds, unlike what we did with Daniel Jones for 6 years.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. Dude, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I'd be speechless.
It'd
Like
be
I am now.
awesome.
It would be awesome, dude. I think they would be a team to reckon with. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
They would be an elite team. And I think, dude, we're already kind of getting a taste, with this Jackson Dart led offense.
it's
What
fun.
things could be like. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Obviously there's some interesting stuff going on with BTJ and the Jags. So we'll see if things kind of shake out more his way moving forward, because they should, with everything happening, Travis Hunter injury and everything. But dude, if he gets traded, it would be one of the first trades for a second year player, I think.
Since like Trent Richardson.
Dang, yeah. That's crazy.
Honest, at least a player of that caliber taken
that stature, yeah.
That was like highly thought of and like big in the draft. And because I've seen second year players get traded all the time, but they get traded for pennies on the dollar because they're terrible. But
yeah, for sure.
I think it's a proper move for the Giants. It's just there's not enough behind Malik Neighbors, and it shows. And Malik Neighbors has already shown he could have a possible injury history. So if that's the case, you need to do a better job of surrounding Dart with more weapons, just in case if crap hits the fan.
Right. Yeah, 100% agree. And because let's be honest, I mean, Darius Slay and Wan'Dale Robinson are not the best moves.
No, they're
a team
they're
can have.
depth pieces. They're depth pieces at best.
Yeah. And I'm not saying the Giants are going to do really well this season, but moving forward, it can't just be Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors. That's not that's a lot of pressure on those guys, you know. I think
Yeah.
having a safety net like Brian Thomas or someone with a little bit more, you know, elite value on that team could make it really good. So yeah, I like this. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Um,
Giants, you've already showed your defense is pretty good. So you have one job this offseason. Build this team around the quarterback.
yeah.
Fix up the line, get them some weapons, and maybe this time next season, they're going to be one of the hyped up teams going into next season that everybody should be
Yes.
watching out for.
Yeah.
How about a little quarterback talk? We focused a lot on running backs and wide receivers. Anthony Richardson going to the Raiders. This is one that you brought up that I thought was super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because Anthony Richardson, he shouldn't be starting anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's been more than obvious that he is a developmental project.
For sure.
But the Raiders are probably in a position where they're going to be looking for a quarterback sooner rather than later. And this was originally what I thought the Seahawks could have done when Pete Carroll was on the team, when Geno Smith was there, that we could have drafted Anthony Richardson, rested him behind Smith until he was ready, and then see what kind of product he's had. I think going to the Raiders could be very good for him to be with those types of personalities and to hopefully build himself up to be able to fully utilize his talents.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't think hope should be lost with Anthony Richardson.
No.
You know, he could easily be one of those guys that just needs time to develop, and we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, his place on the Colts is, I think he could take a lot learning from Daniel Jones, honestly, and maybe he has. I think it makes sense for them to have. I don't think they really have anyone in the QB room outside of Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. I can't even
Yeah.
think who else
And
they have. But
I would personally argue you could probably learn more from Geno Smith than Daniel Jones. Because Daniel Jones, I've heard him talking that he learned a lot from his short time in Minnesota.
Sure.
And you could argue, from all the years he had on the Giants, how many of those years were actually he learned a lot more than like some of these other veterans have already gone through that process
True.
and have done the whole Daniel Jones thing.
Yeah, and I think they have more similarities, Anthony Richardson and Geno Smith, in the fact that they're both kind of mobile. Geno Smith has always been kind of a mobile quarterback.
A little bit.
More than Daniel Jones. Daniel's definitely more of a...
Daniel Jones has shown a lot of mobility in his career, though. I would push back on that a little bit.
Okay, well, that may be...
That's me. That's just me. That's what I've seen.
Well, you're probably right. That may be showing my lack of knowledge in watching Daniel Jones over the years. Daniel Smith, but yeah. So I don't know. I just think Pete Carroll likes to have interesting guys like Anthony Richardson too. Take chances on guys. I could see it working out, and they need a quarterback for their future. That's the biggest reason I thought, like, oh, okay, maybe Anthony going over there. He could be a cheaper option to like a star quarterback outside of the realm of Geno Smith, in the future, maybe a year or two down the line. Who knows how long Geno Smith's going to be on the Raiders? So,
especially if he's playing the way he is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
What about a good tight end, though? We need a good tight end. I think David Njoku is one of the most interesting tight ends, where it makes the most sense. But where should he go? You mentioned possibly the Rams being a spot, and I think that's a good spot, but I think there's an even better spot. How about the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah.
Hey, What happened earlier this season, a few weeks ago, people would say an in-division trade would never happen. It literally just happened with Joe Flacco. It just happened with Joe. And you've got them throwing for all the yards. You got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You know what they don't have? They don't have a tight end. How about we have another reunion between David Njoku and Joe Flacco, this time with no Harold Fannin to get in the way and ruin everything? We get a guy back, and he's going to get a lot of catches. He's going to get a lot of targets in an offense that's going to need to throw the ball 600 times a game.
Yeah. But Kyle, are you trying to say that once Mike Gesicki gets back, once 30-year-old Mike Gesicki gets back from IR, he's not going to be the guy?
Mike Gesicki can go take a nap in a ditch somewhere.
What?
This is the time. This is the time. This is Njoku's time.
But Kyle, what about Noah Fant?
Switching from the orange and brown to the orange and black, Jake.
Noah Fant's on the Bengals.
Noah Fant can take a hike. This is your future.
Yeah. No, and I think this is fine. I did like the Rams, but this does make sense with how I think with how good Njoku is, right?
Yeah.
He could really fill all the spots, all the, whoever needs tight end in the league. David Njoku should definitely be looked at as the guy. And we didn't talk about exactly why though, right?
It's Harold Fannin.
Yeah, it's Harold Finn. Did you mention that?
I think like barely, but
Okay,
essentially, yeah, Harold Fannin coming out and being this great athlete that he is, and he's showing great chemistry with these quarterbacks. It would work best for both sides if we're looking for the best possible options for tight ends for David Njoku to be traded.
Yeah. I will say I do kind of like I feel like Noah Fant's been kind of emerging on the Bengals a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's going to be long term. He's never really been the guy on any team he's been on.
Yeah.
So
even when they say he's the guy, he doesn't really feel like he's the guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think that they need a guy to come in here and kind of take over and be an actual threat, another threat, and that could make the Bengals really good this season and actual competitors moving forward.
When their defense allows pretty much 45 points a game,
Yeah.
that you then quickly realize offense is the best defense.
Yeah.
How do you defeat the fact that you're allowing 45 points a game? Score 48 points a game. More offense, more passing. David Njoku can fit that perfectly, and we can finally get the romance chemistry that those two have once again.
Yeah, you're right. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's a big reason you thought about these guys, huh?
Dude, it makes sense.
Yeah,
to me it makes sense.
Sure. They do have that chemistry.
We've only got a few more names here. How about Jakobi Meyers, one of the most mentioned and probably one of the most volatile trade options, because he's been wanting a trade forever. Whether they get it done or not, we'll just have to see. I'd be surprised at this point if they didn't. But Steelers, that's another move that makes sense. The Steelers might need another receiver. They've been this whole season this mantra of like, we're going all in. We're gonna get Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey. We're getting all these older players for one more season to try to see if we can make a run. And if it doesn't work, double down. You're number one in the division, but the Ravens could come back. Try to see if you can get another piece on that offense to move you guys forward.
Yeah. No, they need someone if they're trying to compete. Outside of DK Metcalf and their tight ends, Pat Freiermuth. They have some decent tight ends, I will say. Pat
Yeah.
Freiermuth, Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington?
But
Right.
like Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson,
Calvin Austin, exactly. And Roman Wilson, dude, they're not that great, I'm gonna be honest.
they don't
They're
fit
just
that
not.
mold.
They do not. And like DK needs better guys on the outside to help when he's getting covered. I don't know. I was really thinking that Roman Wilson was gonna do more this year. He hasn't done anything.
No, it still feels like they're getting his feet wet, essentially.
Yeah. So it definitely seems like they need another guy to complement DK and play on the other side of him. Um someone with more experience like Jakobi Meyers. I could definitely see it.
Always been a very underrated receiver.
Yes.
Great wide receiver too,
Oh yeah.
especially. I think that role fits him perfectly, and he excels when he
Yeah.
has someone else next to him.
Right. I think he makes people miss too. And he's just a really clean route runner. Uh P is just really underrated, like you were saying. I feel like he would fit very well on any team that he goes on.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, I don't really think they need him. And we were talking about this, we were talking about how Brock Bowers, it'd be nice if he was the guy again,
Oh my
like he
gosh,
was
he's the
last
guy
year.
again.
Dude, and he was this last game. He killed it. But it's like, I don't know. I think that he's their wide receiver 1, and
Yeah.
Jacoby's their wide receiver 2. At this point, I know. I think with Jakobi getting a little bit older, I think they should ship him, get something else, maybe a pick or other assets, and another team would really benefit from Jakobi.
Dude, I 100% agree. I always thought not Steeler, Patriots possible. Former
Mm,
Patriot could go back to his old squad. They
dang,
said they were looking for another piece at
that
receiver
would
as
be
well. So
interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I honestly think if the Patriots did find another like bigger name receiver, it actually could alleviate some of the issues of figuring out who's who and who to like play in certain situations. I feel like it could even itself out
Mm.
to be like, oh, okay, there's Stephon Diggs, Jakobi Meyers, and like maybe Kayshon Boutte, and that's it. And it could like make it easier for all of us as fantasy managers.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We've only got a couple names left though. How about tight end Chig Okonkwo, where you have going to the Broncos? And I really do like this move.
Mhm.
Broncos, even though they went out in this offseason and they signed Evan Ingram, I was a little skeptical of that move from the beginning.
Yeah.
I know people were like very high on Evan Ingram and what he can do in that offense. I saw what he can do in Jacksonville. And I saw the way the Broncos run their offense. And I didn't think he was going to be this like big X factor piece that was going to change things. And he hasn't.
Mhm.
But with the Broncos now being in this position of, okay, their offense sometimes is good, sometimes it's not, but they're 6-2. They're near the top of the AFC. They have a shot at top tier seeding. And if they want that, they got to bolster some pieces up. Chig Okonkwo, underrated piece on the Titans, should bolster them, should help them, and could really be a great offensive weapon.
Yeah. I was just looking up to see like the height difference because when I watch, I mean, tight ends are big, right?
Yeah.
That's their thing. And I thought that Chig was a little bit taller, but they're actually the same height. They're both 6'3". They're around the same weight. Um, but I even think that like the Broncos need kind of everything they can get, you know. offensively, weapon-wise, for Bo Nix, and even having Chig Okonkwo and Evan Ingram, I think could be a big help on the offense.
Yeah.
Two tight end systems are actually pretty interesting, and I think teams can benefit from that. We kind of see it with the Seahawks a little bit, with AJ Barner and the rookie they got, um, and then on the Steelers, same thing. They have a bunch of tight ends. I don't know. I don't know. I think it could be good, and they need taller guys out there, honestly, because if you saw this last game, Troy Franklin got like 11 targets, which is insane. But
And
he's a
because it's the
smaller
Texans
guy.
defense, he probably got like
Yeah, it
4
was the Texans
catches.
defense, but like it seemed like he was mismatched. And usually, honestly, like most of the year, he's been getting a lot of targets.
Yeah.
But he's a smaller guy, and I just think they need bigger guys to bring these balls in. And just kind of help Bo Nix. So I could see it being an interesting move, but I don't know. He could go anywhere.
I like the move. There are a few different places. I think when I was putting it together, one of the options I threw around was the Chiefs.
Mm,
A possible, you talked about a 2 tight end setup, or
yeah.
maybe even using him as a possible future guy to groom into the new Travis Kelce.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
could be very interesting.
No, I
Long
could
term,
see
long
that.
term.
Sure.
We have one final name, and maybe this guy might be one of the most likely to get traded. He can realistically go anywhere. Rashid Shaheed.
Mm,
Now, I had trouble figuring out where exactly I thought he could go. And then I thought there's one team out there above all else that loves trade deadline more than anyone. It's the Eagles. Every year,
yeah.
especially this year with Jalen Phillips, with Michael Carter, with I believe they got a cornerback as well. They're bolstering their team as much as they can for the second half push,
Mhm.
for the postseason. But they don't do that as much on offense. But I've always thought, even with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, they could always use just one more guy. Just one more guy
Yeah.
that because usually with them, Goddard and Smith, one of those three is always out. And
Yeah.
you can feel it whenever they're out. The passing game takes a dip. So what if you brought in a guy like Rashid Shaheed, where with all them together, he can be a third wide receiver piece, like a Quentin Johnston, where you're so focused on the other guys that this guy gets bomb
Yep.
touchdowns down the field, or he gets wide open in plays.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
he takes a moment to get even better if those guys go down. I think it's a move that maybe doesn't like isn't the most obvious move, but I think it's a move that the Eagles could possibly make just because they're the Eagles.
I could see it. Um,
But there's a number of
it's
options.
definitely, but I think you know, they got Jahan Dotson. Um, I think it was last season too. They traded, you know, for him um mid-season or something, and he really hasn't done much. I don't think he's been that piece that they were really looking to get. He hasn't contributed the way I think they thought he might. And they do lean heavy on, the three guys you were talking about, AJ and um Smith and
Goddard.
Goddard. But basically, I don't know. I think you're right. If they find another wide receiver that could kind of fill in that wide receiver 3 spot, take the pressure off the other guys. And they have been passing more, you know.
Yeah.
It could be really good. I like Shaheed a lot. I think he's a little more talented than what I've seen from Dotson. So he could work here. I do think he could work anywhere too. Like anybody that needs a deep threat, like you were
Oh, yeah.
saying.
There's a number of spots. I could see Buffalo. I could see the Patriots.
Yeah.
I can see the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Even though DK Metcalf's already kind of deep threat already, but
Yeah. A little
there's a
bit.
number of places he could go, and the Saints, even if they don't want to sell, they probably should sell somebody. They
Sure.
really should, because they
Yeah.
don't have a lot of draft picks, and they don't have a lot of
Oh yeah.
cap space. They just it doesn't make sense to buy as much as they do, but they'll
Mhm.
probably still find a way.
Definitely. And you know what? I I really think, because I was just thinking about um who Rashid Shaheed is kind of like, and in my opinion, he's kind of like an MVS man, Marquise Valdez-Scantling, like a
Mm,
younger version of him.
a younger, I can see that. I also think he has the potential to do a lot more than what MVS
Yeah,
has done in his career,
I could see it. Mhm.
especially now, because he's a decent like fantasy option.
Oh,
Like he's a
yeah,
guy that
he
is
is. He is.
picked him up off the waiver wire. He's been very like kind of solid through a lot of games, even though some of it's garbage time stuff, but he's still very good. And I
Yeah,
and
he's
I think we'll just have to, for all these guys, we'll have to wait and see.
yeah, exactly.
But that should be it. Thank you so much to everyone that watched us here today. You can follow us on Instagram, on X, on TikTok, where we create weekly posts of waiver wire pickups, must starts, must sits. There's going to be more posts for flex options. So you can follow us on any of those sites right there. You can also listen to us back on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Oh
Jake,
yeah.
oh yeah. Anything you want to say before we go off the air?
Uh, oh, thank you guys for tuning in. More to come. Hope this video was fun for anyone that listened this all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's basically it. Appreciate you guys, and you know, stay simple.
Yeah. In a complex fantasy world, just make sure to stay simple.
Oh yeah.
God bless everyone.